Zachary. How you doing?
Brad, what are you doing?
How you doing?
Black Label Berserkers, what's going on, man?
So,
So before we go any further, no questions about Ozzy, no questions about Black Label, no questions about Pride and Glory, no questions about Book of Shadows. I just want to discuss my marriage and my 6-time reign as Madden Bowl champion.
boxers, briefs, commandos. What? So, Zach, you have a very serious and introspective new record coming out.
Yeah.
Book of Shadows,
Really
too.
serious.
Yes.
It's all about man root enhancement.
Released. It's a sequel to the Book of Shadows 1. Couldn't think of any other name, but
It's not. It's just, no, exactly. Well, it was just going to be called the second one. Another one. Something like the first one.
but before I get to that, I have to ask you a serious question. So, is it Broncos or the Panthers?
Broncos or Panthers? Well, this is what I'm going to have to say about this one. Us being all football fans and everything. If we coach the Denver Broncos, I would have to say the game plan is to play pretty much like how the Giants played the Bills, where they held on to the ball for 59 minutes and 28 seconds and still almost lost the game. I honestly, because the Panthers are so good, I'd have to say, I mean, they're just every facet of everything, down to offense, defense, special teams, dishes, laundry, toilet cleaning, anything that they do is just crushing. So, I mean, I'd have to say Peyton has to have a crushing game, no turnovers, and they really got to make third down conversions. And I would have to say, I would do just like the Giants. The best way to beat Carolina is just keep Cam and company off the field. If they can hold on to the ball like these long, super sustained drives, then they got a chance. Because Denver's defense is really good. So, but I don't think you should count on if it's 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. It might end up being 38-3 by halftime, if that's what it is. They got to pretty much keep up with Carolina, as I think Carolina they have a potential to score every time they have the ball. I was going to say, I thought you were going to talk about the Dallas-Cleveland Super Bowl. I thought you were going to talk about that one as well.
On that same note, so Coldplay and not Black Label is playing halftime. Discuss.
They just don't even know who we are, man. That's what the problem. That's problem number one. I dig Coldplay. I think it's great. Good for them, man.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But if you were to play halftime, would you invite Adele to come on and sing with you?
But the best is my buddies always get all my friends that get all worked up. Well, Adele rocks, man. I mean, she's a genuine article. But I mean, no, but all my buddies that get all pissed off during the halftime shows. Because, whether it's Madonna or anything, nothing says male testosterone and smashing walls than Madonna, you know what I mean? So, I mean, or Beyonce or anything like that. So, because I know, none of my friends own these records. They're like, well, then what is she? I go, yeah, well, then obviously you should have Metallica playing a halftime show, you know what I mean? But they go, but this is the reasoning, though, is because it's we already have that audience watching the game. There you go. So the whole thing is,
I don't want to hear about no damn
the reason why you put Madonna
demographics.
on there is now my wife is watching the game with her girlfriends.
Okay.
So there you go. You know what I mean? It's just during during the Ellen show, you just put an MMA match in the middle of Ellen. You know what I mean? Then you just have all your guy friends watching Ellen. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's kind of like that. We already have the girls watching Ellen.
So
we want to have everyone jacked up on roids watching Ellen now,
So let's get back to actually Book of Shadows. So it's a follow-up to a record that you recorded 20 years ago, and just tell us a little bit about it and sort of why you are deciding to release that now.
I mean, I can't. First off, I can't believe it's 20 years ago. I mean, that's pretty insane. I mean, me and JD, we always just laugh now. I mean, I don't know, because I always just say, I don't really remember high school going by this fast, ever. But I mean, it's just like now that we're older, I don't know whether it's because we always got stuff going on, we're always torn, we're always working every day, there's something going on. But no, it's just that, you know, I just always make running jokes like how Ozzy and Robert Plant must feel, because they must like go, well, I remember 1973, Zakk, that seemed like it wasn't really that long ago, man. You know what I mean? When they run into friends and stuff like that they've known since like 1972 or whatever when they were coming over to the States. But I mean, no, actually with the Book of Shadows record, I was working on it actually here in the city when we were doing the Osmosis record. And so a normal day when we were doing Osmosis would be, I've had an awesome time every record I've made. I don't understand why anyone ever has a bad time making a record. You're hanging out with your buddies and you're doing what you love. And then especially back in the day, you know, when we were sniffing glue and drinking booze, and now it's just sniffing glue and eating paint chips. But I mean, but the whole thing is, yeah, the booze, and it would just be pretty much we track all day, have some cocktails, then after that, when we were done, just go bar hop until about 6 o'clock in the morning. And that was every day. So, I mean, it was a blast for sure. So, I mean, but the thing is, what I would do is I'd end up getting back. There was on 34th and Lexington, we were staying at at an apartment building there. And I'd come back every day, you know, from tracking. We'd go out drinking all night, and then there was a Brews. That was a bar that was right there. It's been around since like 1908 or whatever. It's gone now. But we'd end up in there, and they'd had like the most ass-kicking jukebox. So, you know, they had Stones, Bob Seger, Neil Young, Allman Brothers, Skinner, you know, Sabbath, Zeppelin. It was just like the best jukebox. So it was just like we'd stay in there till about 6 o'clock in the morning, just drinking, solving the problems of the world. Then I'd end up going next door with my acoustic, and I'd just end up jamming and writing, you know, Eagles-esque, Neil Young. I mean, all the stuff that we were listening there, the band. I mean, all the guys, all the bands that I love. So I mean, that's where that record came from. So I mean, it was, you know, during the sessions of doing Osmosis, you know, when we were doing the heavy stuff, but I would just be jamming on the acoustic. But yeah. So I mean, it's funny that we're here talking about the second one now. You know, considering that the first one was written out here in the city.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard bits of it, and it's a great record. And for people to think it's just acoustic, it's not. It's, you know, got a lot of electric elements. In fact, I think like there's a song on there called "Darkest Hour." I think it's one of your best guitar solos ever. I mean, it's fantastic, really beautiful. You know, the thing about metal or playing high energy music is you got to come down sometime. And I sort of thought, like, this is sort of like a Sunday morning record. Like, after going hard, you have to have
without
that.
a doubt. I mean, that's why even with Black Sabbath, when we did the Hangover music, that was what it was. You know, Saturday night, and, you know, drinking with the fellas, and Sunday you're gonna chill out and relax. It's, you know, Hangover music, the first thing you put on when you're the mellow stuff. So, but I've always loved. I mean, no matter, especially during the drinking days. I mean, with Oz, when I'd be touring with the Boss, it's just like after we got done doing the show, we'd all jump in the submarine, in the nuclear submarine, and we're rolling to the next town. I'd sit up in the front with whoever was driving at the time, whether it was, you know, Frank, John, Dino, Andy, or any of the guys, and we just all meet up in the front, and just drinking cocktails, listening to the Eagles, listening to Neil Young, listening to all the stuff we love, whether it's the band, Creedence, everything like that. You know, so we'd be up in the front just solving the problems of the world, talking about everything. Like it was just like a rolling Irish pub, man. So I mean, but that would be the stuff I always listen to anyway. So I mean, it's just making these records. I really love, and every Black Label album. And I mean, even with Oz, you know, we had No More Tears, and you'd have Miracle Man, then you'd have My Mom Coming Home, or Road to Nowhere. You know, so yeah, I've always loved the mellow stuff. Just as much as I love Zeppelin doing Black Dog, I love it when they do Going to California.
Yeah. The first single, which I guess is going to be released somewhere soon in the next week or two, everybody's going to get a preview of it, is called Sleeping Dogs. And is there any special significance to you for that song? Why are you releasing that first?
No, I mean, the whole thing is, as far as lyrics go, they're either always about, especially when you're doing reflective stuff, you can always, it's either pretty much either things that have happened to you or things you see going on or personal type things. But I mean, you could literally even take one situation, like if you really got screwed over and, or somebody just really let you down, and you can, it's just like the lyrical approach, you could take it on one song, it could actually cross like 3 songs and you wouldn't even know it, because it's like different shades of blue or whatever. You got dark blue, royal blue, light blue. You know what I mean? So it's just, even though it's the same subject matter, yeah, or even the same situation, it's just a different outlook on it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much just for me lyrically. That's what the words are.
I mean, do you feel like it's gotten any deeper for you 20 years later? Are these songs, you think, do you feel a difference?
No, because I think it's you, and what I always tell aspiring musicians or younger kids now, the one thing that you really have to do, you have to just play what you love, and it's a lot easier said than done. But because a lot of times you just get caught up, and I remember Bon Jovi was the hugest thing, and John still does 5 nights at Giant Stadium, so he's still the hugest thing. So, but I remember it was when Slippery When Wet was out and everything. And, I remember we had a manager at the time, and he was just like, well, you're never going to go anywhere, playing, I love Black Sabbath, and I love Randy Rhoads, and I love Zeppelin and everything like that. So, I mean, the whole thing is in Frank Marino and all this other stuff. And it's just like, and Al Di Meola, John McLaughlin, I mean, all my favorite guitar players. And it's just like, these are the guys that inspire me, and I listen to their music because it moves me. And in the meantime, we're playing music that has nothing to do with anything that you like. And it's like, why? But you don't like vegetables. Yeah, I know. Then why are you eating them? I mean, it really is hysterical. I mean, because it's just like whenever any musical movement would be in at the time, you have everybody chasing it. Because so as soon as Bon Jovi was, which by the way, they're playing the music they love, and they're committed to the project. I mean, they don't have to sit around and try and compose those songs. That's what naturally comes out of them. So while that was going on, Guns N' Roses was doing their thing, and everyone was telling Guns N' Roses, you need to be more like this. And then when Guns N' Roses exploded, everyone was telling Soundgarden and Alice in Chains they need to sound more like Guns N' Roses. You know what I mean? Or somebody wear a hat and get some more tattoos. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, but that's what they do. Yeah. And then, it just goes down the line. And like Green Day was doing their thing when the grunge thing was happening. You know what I mean? It took a little while for them, for their turn. You know what I mean? But I guarantee you, everybody was telling them, you got to sound more like Soundgarden, and you got to sound like, Pearl Jam or whatever. But they're like, yeah, but that's not what we do. And I mean, you just got to stay true to what it is you love and what you do. I mean, Led Zeppelin came out, they sounded like Led Zeppelin. Black Sabbath came out, they sounded like Black Sabbath. They didn't sound like the Everly Brothers when they came out, or whatever, whatever's popular at the time. I mean, there's just do what do you like, and play that, because that's where you'll shine.
Is it true you're calling this record the Book of Shadows 2 because The Force Awakens was already taken?
Yes, it's actually true. Yes, that's it. All comes down to Star Wars. Who the fuck are we kidding, man?
So speaking of the morning after, you've recently launched your own coffee company, Death Wish Coffee.
Well, it's not my coffee company. That's our Death Wish Coffee family over there. Yeah, no, we, all the Blasco's good buddies with everybody over there, and then we were talking about doing a coffee at the time. And so we talked with the gang over there, and they, I said, I want to make Valhalla Java, the Odin Force blend and everything like that. And the guys sent a couple samples over, and they make amazing coffee. So I said, yeah, let's do something with the Death Wish gang. So, yeah. And thanks on behalf of Black Label Berserker Nation. You guys helped, by voting for him, you helped land him the TV commercial in Super Bowl 50, man. So cheers, guys.
So for that plug, I'll be waiting for my case of Valhalla coffee.
I'll send it out to the compound. It's good stuff.
You're going to be playing Jimi Hendrix on the Jimi Hendrix annual Jimi Hendrix tribute tour sometime this year, right?
Yep.
It's pretty soon.
This is going to be my third time doing it, and I mean, whenever I have, we're not out touring around, with Black Label or doing now. We're going to be doing the Book of Shadows thing. Whenever I have the opportunity to do it, I love doing it. It's great seeing everybody there. I mean, it's like the Hendrix family,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great bunch of people and a great cause,
What songs are you going to do this time around?
I think last time I did, obviously we did Purple Haze, Little Wing, do last time. Manic Depression we did. So I don't know. We'll mix it around this time. But I wait to see what everybody else is doing and see what's left.
Yeah.
So I'll take it from there.
I mean, what does Jimmy sort of represent to you? I mean, you're not really. I mean, stylistically, you don't really do the Hendrix thing, on the Strat or you're a Les Paul guy.
No, I think, but he was the first true electric. I mean, you'd have to go to Chuck Berry as the first electric guitar hero. I mean, in that as far as rock, it has to go to Chuck Berry. But then I think Dwayne Eddy and all those guys. I mean, they're phenomenal players too. But I mean, when Jimmy came around, it was just with the use of all the distortion and everything like that. So I mean, actually, Ozzy said him and Geezer went and saw him back in the day, and he said that Ozzy was like, when he was playing behind his head and playing with his teeth, they were like, it's got to be the tape or so you can't. It's got to be fake, man. So. But yeah, Ozzy said they were pretty blown away, man. But of course. But no, I think with Jimmy, I mean, I got turned on to Jimmy because my guitar teacher, Leroy Wright, he was a huge Jimi Hendrix freako. So, and he was the one that turned me on to, aside of Jimmy, then it was Robin Troward and Frank Marino, and all the guys, the Hendrix influence. I mean, on across everybody. But no, I think. No, and it's just, I think overall, just his guitar playing, but I know what you're saying. I mean, as far as because I could tell you directly when I'm listening to my playing, I go, yeah, there's a little bit of this, there's a little bit of John McLaughlin, there's some Frank Marino, there's some Al Di Meola, there's some of this one, there's some of that one. But no, I think, actually one of the songs on the record, somebody was like, oh, it sounds like a Hendrix thing or whatever. I think one of the songs on the new record, but a lot of Jimmy's chords and stuff like that, the way his chord voicings and everything like that.
Yeah. Also, you're going to be in a documentary on the history of Marshall amps, and I was sort of wondering, could you explain to somebody who's not a guitar player, like why Marshall amps are important? Like, what is the story about?
Well, it's just like anything. I mean, the reason why do people wear Levi's and why is it around so long? Because they're good. I mean, it's just a Marshall amp is it's quality. And I'm saying that's the reason why it's been around so long. I mean, it's just you plug into it, it sounds good. It's just and it does one thing. You know what I mean? It's a great sounding amp. It's warm. It's just awesome. And it's simple. So, I think that's why everybody's used them. You know what I mean? So I think that it doesn't need any hype. It doesn't need anything. It just because it's good. I mean, whether it's any of the top-notch things, whether it's a Mercedes or a Bentley or any of these things, it doesn't need any hype. It's just it's quality.
Well, your buddy Slash is also on the documentary, and I was wondering what you thought of the whole GNR reunion as a former member of
I
Guns
think it's
N'
awesome.
Roses.
It's great for rock and roll, the fact that the guys are getting back together. So I'm happy for all of them. So I'm buddies with all the guys. So without a doubt, them getting back together and playing, it's great news.
What was your time in the band like?
Well, no, I remember when we were out here working on Osmosis, Axel called me up, and I was friends with all the guys. I had never met Izzy before. But, when I went down there and met the guys, it was just, Axel was like, Zakk, you want to get together and we'll do some jamming with the guys? I said, yeah, no problem. So we just got together and jammed a bunch of stuff. I remember going over to Duff's house, and at the time when we were all jamming together, it was me, Slash, Axel, Duff, Matt, and Dizzy. We were all in the room jamming together. So, no, I mean, it was a lot of. I mean, like I said, the guys are amazing, and it's just awesome bunch of guys. I mean, good buddies and everything like that. So, but nothing was happening at the time. It was just like we were waiting on stuff to happen, and it was just like, it'd be like, guys, like, did you put any lyrics or any singing on any of these riffs or anything like that? He's nah, I got nothing yet, man. I mean, I nothing that I'm happy with. He just is like, nah, I got nothing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was going on. So it was just kind of a matter of. And then Oz got Joe Holmes in the band. Oz was like, Zakk, are you going to be jamming with the fellas, or what are you going to be doing, man? I can't be waiting around forever. I said, no, completely, Oz, I get it. I was like, guys, you got to let me know. I can't. I mean, if it wasn't for Oz, I wouldn't be talking to anybody right now. So, no, but it just didn't pan out. We were just waiting around, and then Oz was like, Zakk, I can't wait around anymore. I'm going to get Joe in the band and everything like that. So Joe came in the band, so I was just sitting around in limbo, and I had all these riffs lying around, and that's pretty much how Black Label was born. I was like, well, I can sit around here, drinking beer, fisting my prostate, listening to Zeppelin and Sabbath all day, or we can put a band together, So I continued listening to Zeppelin and Sabbath and fisting my prostate and put Black Label together. So yeah, that was the game plan.
How is your relationship with Oz these days? Have you seen any of the Black Sabbath reunion
shows? No, it's
shows?
awesome. I mean, whenever we have time, I mean, it's just me and Barbara Ann will go out to dinner with the boss and mom, and it's always a laugh fest every time we get together. So no, it's always great, man. I mean, Ozzy's the godfather of our oldest boy, Jesse John Michael. So no, I love them dearly. They're family to me. So,
well, you recently played in Zakk Sabbath, a Sabbath cover band.
Exactly. You got to play music you love. Exactly. Why would we put a cover band together of things we don't love? So that's why it's Zakk Sabbath.
Did you play any Sabbath when you were in Stonehenge?
Of course, without a doubt. And I would I do my Ozzy voice and, my best Ozzy voice and sing all the songs. So, yeah.
Stonehenge was Zakk's one of the
And that was before seeing Spinal Tap as well. That's the charm of that.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories you told me about Oz was your time helping him throw a television out the window. Could you tell the people?
Oh yeah, that was pretty much the end of an era right there. But no, it was with the drinking and everything like that. I remember Father Chirillo in the band and Father Borden with Mikey. But I remember we were in Prague and we just got done doing the show, and Oz goes, "Oh, we'll go back to my room, and we'll we'll finish some drinking up in my room." But anyways. But, because it would always be, Mom would always call us the gruesome twosome, because I remember I would be the only one that would drink with the boss. And even when I first joined the band. And I remember Mom, Mrs. O, calling Barbara Ann up. This is back when I first joined the band. And she goes, "Can I ask you something, Barbara Ann?" She's like, "Yeah, what?" And she goes, "Does Zachy boy have a drinking problem?" She goes, "Oh, no. He just drinks milk all the time." I mean, he goes, "Why?" "Well, he has one now." You know what I mean? So, yeah, because obviously it would just be me with Oz all the time. Because none of the guys wanted to get in trouble because they'd be out drinking with the boss. You know what I mean? So, but I was like, I would always roll with them. So, yeah, that was always the comedy factor. But no, I remember when we were, as far as with the TV, when we were in Prague, we were sitting there, and this is when the reality show was going on at the time, right? And then, but I remember Oz, we were looking at the TV, and it was in this entertainment center. It's just, Oz goes, "Man, he was talking about John Bonham or something like that, or Keith Moon and stuff like that." And he goes, "Man, I've done some crazy things in my time, but I've never thrown a TV out the window," right? And he goes, we both looked at the TV and we both looked at ourselves like, oh, well, it's just, so Oz goes over and he tries pulling the TV out and it's bolted into the entertainment center. And, and Oz is just blasted to the bejesus, right? He's falling over. I just walk over and go, Oz, let me give it a shot. So I just push the boss out of the way and I just like rip this thing out of the entertainment center. And I got it up on my shoulder. I mean, this is this massive TV and I just go, I'm holding it, and all the cables and the wires and the bolts are hanging out of it, and I'm just going, Oz is opening up the window, because we were about like 6 stories up on the top floor, and he just goes, I'm going, Oz, open it up. I go, this thing's getting heavy. I go, I feel like I'm at a high school party right now. So the next thing you know, he opens up the windows, and of course, being responsible idiots, I just made sure, Oz, make sure for the love of God and all things Catholic that there are no people down hanging out at 3:30 in the morning. But anyway, so the coast was clear. And when I launched this TV out the window, all I remember just hearing, and when this thing, the explosion, this thing hit, when it hit the ground, it was just boom, boom, right? All I remember is me and Oz on the floor crying, laughing. I mean, just rolling. And then Oz just looks over at me. I mean, we're both crying, laughing. And he goes, Zakk, I've heard a lot of things in my life, but not as great as that. And I was just like, then I remember BT came up, God bless his soul, and Tony Dennis. They've been with Oz since St. Rhodes started the band, since 1979. They've been with them, and Tony been with them even longer, with the Sabbath days. They just came running up, and they were like, they looked out the window, and it looked like, you remember in The Exorcist when the curtains were blowing at the end of the movie when Father Karras jumped out of the window? And it was just like, it was as horrific as that. And I mean, the curtains were just blowing, and you had me and Ozzy laughing, kind of like Reagan. And and they just looked back at us. They looked out the window, and they looked back at us like, oh, you two fucking assholes really fucked up this time. And it was just like, because I was like, Bobby, I'll just go down there and clean it myself. I mean, how much could the TV be? I go, I'll give him $2,000 for the TV. You know what I mean? So anyways, Mom wasn't too happy about that. So what they did is they said, because Ozzy broke the window, they couldn't use the room for 41 days, and I guess it was $1,000 a night for the room. So they clipped the boss $41,000 on that one. Then they clipped me $10,000 on the TV, and I'm going, there's no way that TV, the only way that TV costs $10,000 is if it came with a free footsie massage for a month, shoulder rub, and a man root massager for a month and a half. But anyways, no, it was just, so that was the last time we did that. But I'll tell you this much. Yeah, I was shy $10,000, but the look on the boss's face, priceless. And there you go.
I think the irony of all of this, though, Ozzy still didn't throw the television out the window. Technically.
The brutality.
Okay, one more. I got to get one more story out of you before we open it up to the audience to talk. There was one, I think while we were drinking some tea one day, you were telling me a story about Ozzy asking you to go get some posters to put up in the recording studio while you guys were working in New York. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. Oh, with the record, the Osmosis record. No, it was, no, we were recording right on 48th Street where Manny's was and everything like that. But all I remember is, I had a poster of Jimi Hendrix up on the wall. I had some Zeppelin stuff up on the wall. And, I had an Aleister Crowley poster up on the wall, right? Because there was this place called The Magical Child, which is gone as well. But it had everything that was in there. It had, everything from Christianity to Judaism to Satanism to Wicca to, I mean, everything was in this thing, right? So I ended up seeing this Aleister Crowley poster, but I was just like, yeah, because I mean, the whole thing is hysterical. There's that whole session of that whole Making of Osmosis record. But I you know, because Jimmy Page with the Aleister Crowley stuff, I'm just like, oh, you know, what's the skinny with this guy? So I'll just do a book report on this guy. So I see this poster thing, and I just go, you know, the poster was, I had to ask the guy the price. I just go, boss, what's the price on this Aleister Crowley poster? He just goes, well, that would be $6.66. And I go, here's $7, keep the change. You know, so anyways, I just had to hear him say it. So anyways, I get the poster, I put that up in the studio, we're hanging out, and Oz comes in and he's like, Zakk, he goes, you know, he's looking at the Jimi Hendrix poster. And Jimmy's like, it's like his face grunting, you know, because it's just like a close-up of his face. And he goes, oh my God. Look at the nostrils on him. He goes, you know, you wouldn't want to share any blow with him, you wouldn't. And I go like this, I go, so, then he starts talking about, he sees the Zeppelin poster, he starts talking about these crazy Bonzo stories. And then he goes, well, oh my, he goes, Zakk, who's the bald-headed cunt you got up on the wall? I go, Oz, you don't know who that is? He goes, oh, who is it? I go, you don't know who that is? He goes, well, who is it? I go, Oz, you've been singing about him since 1980. He goes, huh? He takes a good look at it. He's like, who the fuck is it? And I go, Oz, that's Aleister Crowley. You know, Mr. Crowley. And he goes, and he takes a good look at him. He goes, oh, is that what he fucking looks like? Oh my God. Oh, the Prince of Daftness. Fucking A. Awesome. And then, you know, because at the time when all that was going down, and down at the Magical Child also, with Anton LaVey, with the Church of Satan, you know, I had the Satanic Bible. And I remember Oz was like, he goes, yeah, Zakk, you know, if you're reading that, you're practicing it. And I go, it's funny. You know, as you mentioned that, I just saw Geezer thumbing through some of my Flex magazines, and I'm sure he's going to be training for the Mr. fucking Olympia contest this year as well. But then, so then he goes, Anton LaVey, Geezer, where have I heard that name? He goes, and Geezer, you know, Geezer just goes, you remember when the record company, when we had the first album, it was on California Street in San Francisco where the Black House was. He goes, the record company had Anton LaVey and I guess the Church of Satan, they headed a parade for a record release of the album. And he goes, oh yeah, the bald-headed guy with the beard, right? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, oh, no wonder why the record didn't do as well as it could have. That's all he had to say. I was like, okay. That's the end of that. But yeah, I mean, talking with those two guys about all that stuff is, you will be on the floor crying, laughing, man. Without a doubt.
So shall we open it up to the floor?
Yes. Fire away.
Hey, Zakk.
What are you doing, bud?
You're probably one of the reasons why I got into playing Gibson guitars. I was wondering if you could give me a reason on the transition over to doing your own guitars and an update on those.
While I'm doing my own guitars now, it's just for me, it's just a natural progression. I mean, it's just you play for a team, then you coach the team, then you're a, you know, general manager, then you're vice president of operations. Then the only next logical step for me and you is we got to be team owners. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, I've been truly blessed being with all the companies that I was with, because I got not only a chance to endorse everything I love as a kid, because all my heroes played it. It's just I got a chance to create as well. So Yeah, and all my relationships with everybody that I was with is still great. It's just, it's just that I want to do more, so that's all it really is. I mean, it's freedom, and it's just a matter of wanting to create more and do more things, you know what I mean? And you gotta, it's just like being with the boss. If I want to sing, and I want to write lyrics, and I want to produce, and I want to come up with the artwork, and I want to be involved with everything, then you need to start your own band. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of, it's that. That's why, But it had nothing to do with there is no falling outs. I mean, because I still have great relationships with everybody that's there, and I'm grateful and beyond thankful for everything the opportunities I've been given with them.
I think we can all agree that you're on a very short list of guitar gods in music, and you're also big on giving respect to people who are genuinely talented. Is there anyone out there in the modern landscape that you respect as a guitarist that we can all, maybe we haven't heard of yet, that we can listen to?
Well, I mean, the whole thing is, it definitely, the new blood, you always need the new blood to keep the music going, always. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's still a lot of great guitar players out there. And I always just say, with the Avenged Sevenfold and stuff like that, Sinister Gates, and the way kids dig those two guys, like Zakk Vengeance and all the guys that are in that band, the whole thing is they're inspiring all the younger breed of kids that are coming in, which is a beautiful thing. So that's what you want to constantly keep having. So, obviously you had, between Beck, Clapton, and Page and Hendrix, and then obviously the baton, then when Eddie came in and Randy came in, and then you had, Father Lynch, and you had Warren DeMartini. I'm just saying when they ushered in the next era of them, and Yngwie, and the next era of amazing guys. You know what I mean? So the bloodline is always fresh. So I think, I think the talent will always be there, because and we were just talking about that before, like with Adele. That just goes to show you when something is when she has that much of a God-given gift, and it's so undeniably awesome, it can't be denied. And I'm just saying, if Jimi Hendrix came out today, like he did in 1967, it would be as equally as stunning and as amazing. If Eddie Van Halen came out today, never existed, and Van Halen 1 came out today, how could it not be as devastating as it was then? Everyone would say, have you heard this guy playing guitar and the band and the whole, it's just Guns N' Roses if they came out today, instead of 1987. Good is good. It just doesn't matter. It's just, it like Freddie Mercury always said, talent will always out. It always will, man.
When Ed came out, everybody thought that hard rock and metal was dead and Guitar Heroes were over. So he was able to revive it even, when he first came out.
Yeah.
There's people that can change the world now.
No, but I think like Adele is proof. That something can be still that devastatingly powerful, because it's undeniably good. You just put her next to a piano, it's lights out, game over. You know what I mean?
Adele's Hello or Lionel Richie's Hello?
Well, they're both equally devastating.
Okay.
And whether I was singing Lionel Richie's Hello or Adele's, JD would still knock me out because he's a Met fan and I'm a Yankee fan. Because everyone wonders on that video, which is up to like 7 million views now or something like that. It's like, what did you get knocked out because you were singing Adele's song? I go, no, because JD's a Met fan and I'm a Yankee.
I just thought it would be the best thing if you did do the Super Bowl to you start singing it and then have Adele come out and punch you
Adele
and finish
knock me
the whole
out. Yeah, that would be good. That would be pretty awesome.
One more.
Hey, Zach, big fan. Before I ask my question, I just want to say rest in peace, Daryl Lance Abbott. And I think one thing on everyone's mind is you, Rex Brown, Vinnie Paul, and Philip Anselmo just jamming out the Pantera tunes, man. What do you think about that?
Well, I always tell everybody, they go, is it a Pantera reunion? I go, it's not a Pantera reunion. I go, Pantera reunion is Dime and the fellas. They all get back together and they do it. I go, it's a celebration of Pantera's greatness and the mountains they climbed and all their achievements, and celebrating St. Dime's greatness. So to me, the analogy I always use and the way I always look at it is if Noel, Redding and Mitch Mitchell asked Eric Clapton to sing Jimmy's stuff and play his music and celebrate Jimmy's greatness. So it's to me, it's no different. It's just like if the guys if they really wanted to do it, and they said, Zakk, would you honor Dime and play his stuff? It's like, of course I would. Why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? It's a no-brainer, man. So yeah. But I mean, like I said, that's always up to the fellas, and I love them, and that's up to their decision. But I always support them, whatever they want to do, and I'm always here for them.
By popular demand, they want two more people,
No
two
problem.
more questions.
Let's do it.
Hey, Zakk, what's up, man?
Go ahead, brother.
Zakk, I got to ask, because I'm a singer, I do a lot of gigs, a lot of warm-up. What's a day like on gig day for you vocally? What's the process, bro?
For me, it's just you got to get sleep. That's the ultimate. That's the key thing. I mean, if you were lifting weights and you did a bench press competition the day before, the only thing that's going to help you is sleep. That's sleep and rest, man, and it's the truth. And but as far as warming up and stuff like that, I don't do an hour of vocal exercises and everything like that. For me, it's just the first song, and I'm fine. You know what I mean? We're good to go. But no, but it's always rest, man. And I'm telling you, or you take a nap in the day sometime. You know what I mean? Before your gig or something like that. If you could take a half-hour power nap or something, just to recharge the batteries, man. So you got it. So when you hit the gas tank, it's all there. But it really is. You got to get sleep. I mean, that's it. I mean, I'm saying for singing this, you can do that all day long. I mean, I could, especially during the drinking days. I mean, you could be drinking for 2 days straight. This is no problem. I mean, but otherwise you can't even talk after a while. You know what I mean? So, but no, I would say that. I think any singer would tell you that. It's just you gotta get rest, man.
One more.
Una más. Hey, just want to say thanks, Z.
Cheers,
man.
brother.
Here's the dime. Brad, good job. I'm sure everybody agrees. Ready? On behalf of New Jersey and JT McHughes and Randolph, can I get a yeah? Give me one. Come on, give me one, man. Come on, man. Come on.
Oh, we could do the typical vibe. Can you dig it?
Anyways, Book of Shadows 2 coming out in April. It's fantastic. I've heard it's really great. Everybody, keep your ears and eyes open for it. And thank you, Mr. Wylde.
Cheers, Father Brad. Thank you very much, my brother, as always. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoyed the new record.